House Majority Leader Eric Cantor says he is looking forward to his party picking a nominee. But first, is he ready to endorse? We spoke with Leader Cantor a short time ago. Nice to see you, sir.
Greta, it's good to be with you.
Well, so where are you? I understand you're at Washington Lee University, but why are you there, I should say?
Well, we went to W&L today because every 4 years the students at W&L hold a mock political convention. It's always a convention, obviously, for the party out of power. So this year's is a Republican convention. They have well over 1,700 student delegates participating, and it's very much in the Washington and Lee tradition of encouraging young leaders to speak out on issues facing the country and about the direction of leadership.
All right, I understand this has been going on for about 100 years at this university, so tell me, they've been enormously successful in identifying who's ultimately the nominee over the course of this time. Who did they vote for, or who did they identify today?
Well, they haven't yet taken the roll call, and that will come tomorrow. There were plenty of speeches made today, plenty of activities surrounding the actual convention. Tomorrow will be the actual roll call. Just before the roll call takes place, former Governor Haley Barbour will be the keynote speaker, and then will be the roll call of the states.
What's sort of interesting, though, is that Speaker Gingrich, I understand, is not, even though he lives in Virginia, he's not on the ballot in Virginia. Will he still be part of this process as a possible nominee by this group?
Yes, I think so, that the different state delegations have been doing a lot of research. They've been talking to students that live in states and some of the territories that participate in the political conventions to come up with their suggested votes in terms of throwing their delegates behind a certain candidate. And I do think that former Speaker Gingrich will be in play.
All right, this wasn't all a total academic exercise for you, though. Today you also unveiled a business tax cut. Is that correct?
That is correct, Greta. When I spoke to the student delegates at the W&L convention, what I said was this. I mean, we're going to have a very robust debate about the state of our economy and the direction in which we head as a country. And I talked a lot about the president's recent rhetoric. You know, oftentimes the president's talking about fair play and what is fair in terms of our tax policy and who pays for the government. I also spoke a lot about the president's proposed Buffett rule that he's named after Warren Buffett, and somehow he is conflating the small and medium-sized business people with the likes of billionaire Warren Buffett. And I said we don't need a Buffett rule, we need a buffer rule. We've really got to stop the intrusion of more and more government. Washington's got enough money it's spending, and we've got to get the fiscal house in order by aiming at, number one, reducing spending, but number two, trying to increase the economic activity in the private sector. And what I said was the backbone of America is our small business people. And so what I propose today is a 20% small business tax cut that goes right to the heart of the economic engine in this country, which are the men and women who are the entrepreneurs willing to go and take a risk if they just get some signal out of Washington that Washington will get out of the way and stop making it so expensive and so difficult.
Speaking of Washington, I'm sure you've been following this controversy here over this contraception issue. It's now created what he calls an accommodation. Will that satisfy your constituents in Virginia, this accommodation he suggested?
You know, I don't think so, Greta, because what we have here is a rule by this president and his administration that goes after, really, our First Amendment rights to the practice of our religion. As a member of a minority faith in this country, obviously the ability to practice my religion is very important to me, as it is for everyone in this country. It's what makes part of what makes America unique, is the freedom for individuals and the religious establishments to do what it is that is consistent with their faith and within the law. And what the president is saying is that somehow...
Well, what he suggested, though, today is that the insurance company will pick up the freight, that the insurance companies will pay for it, that the religious institutions don't have to, that the insurance company... Frankly, I don't see the insurance companies as being so magnanimous, but he does.
How does that work? I mean, obviously, you know, an employer, let's say Catholic Hospital, that is forced to then provide access to contraceptives for its employees, how can that Catholic institution expect an insurance company to pick up the cost of coverage? I mean, again, it is Washington mandating that certain services be provided when those services are in contradiction to one's faith. And that is anathema to who we are in America. I mean, that is fundamental First Amendment rights. That started right here in Virginia with Thomas Jefferson's Statute of Religious Freedom here, which then translated into the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment. So I'm very upset about the direction this president is taking when it comes to religious liberties. We are tolerant people. We respect folks' right to practice their religion.
All right, March 6th, Super Tuesday, which includes the real primary, not the one at the university where you are. You have not yet endorsed. Do you intend to endorse by Tuesday, March 6th or not? And if not, why not?
Greta, you know, I haven't really made that decision. I've left open the opportunity that I may endorse in the presidential nominations race. Obviously, this is a hugely important election. I mean, this election really is about a choice of the direction our country is going to take. And it's important that I think that we as Republicans engage in the debate of ideas, as we see in our primaries right now. But I'm looking forward to our coalescence around a nominee, a candidate, so that we can present the choice of whether we are going to be more like our allies in Europe and become consumed with more spending, higher incurrence of debt to provide the ultimate in terms of outcomes to people, just as the president suggests he wants everybody to have what he deems is fair, or are we going to be the country that continues to offer more opportunity based on economic freedom, free enterprise, and the ability for everyone in America, no matter where you're from, to have a fair shot at earning their success.
So, in other words, let me ask you this way. If any of the four candidates that are currently running for the nomination is chosen, and I ask me one of the four, you could support any of the four?
Well, you know, obviously I have some differences with Ron Paul's foreign policy. You know, I don't support American isolationism. I believe that there is a reason why we've been able to secure ourselves, because we believe in freedom. We, you know, we commit, our men and women commit themselves to the fighting for freedom overseas so that we can be secure here at home. And, you know, I subscribe to the notion that someone told me one day, I'd rather be on the receiving end of a 911 call rather than that country which has to make the call. And so I believe in a very strong national defense policy, so I'd have an issue there. But again, I think all of our candidates from an economic standpoint, as it relates to the jobs issue and how to grow this country again, I think all of them are fairly much on the same page.
Sir, thank you very much for joining us, and I'm looking forward to see what the students do pick tomorrow, because they've been pretty much on the money over the last many decades. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Greta.